Hey, Nick here with Notch and Tags, and today I'm going to go over how to refletch fletched arrows. I've shot, I don't know, a dozen of these Victory Rip Extreme Velocities. It's the first time I've ever tried these arrows. They're extremely light. It's the lightest arrow I've ever built. It's 410 grains. And I've been shooting these arrows for I think since February. And, you know, shooting them all the time, you kind of get these arrows hitting fletches, or you shoot a vein off a fletch. They get beat up, you know, and I got a 3D sheet coming up here in about 2 weeks. So I'm just going to pretty much take all of these fletches off. There's like 2 arrows that are good, but I'm going to kind of maybe change some colors on it. And I'm going to go through with you guys how I do it a couple different ways. So, like I said, I'm just taking the potato peeler, now that I'm over a garbage can, and I'm just rolling the shaft slowly and scratching most of the stuff off. It takes a little bit of time. Your hands do get a little tired, but to me, it's redoing arrows or building bullets is I call it a beer drinking sport. You know, it's a good time to settle down, drink a beer, maybe listen to a podcast or some music, and just I don't know, clean some arrows. Then I'll take this bowing tool. I got majority. There's one chunk here that I think I'm gonna have to use the edge of a blade for, but I just same thing. Roll the shaft real slowly, get all that glue residue off. And I'm not really tearing into the shaft a little bit. I mean, I'm scratching up like, I guess, like sandpaper would, but I'm not digging into it. Digging into carbon's probably kind of a scary thing. You're breaking down the integrity of the arrow, and the last thing you want to do is have an arrow blow up next to your face when you release it. So just be very careful, mindful of it. It's nothing too serious. I'm just setting the blade nice and easy on the shaft, and I'm just rolling nice and easy. Now that I got most everything off, I got a couple heavier glue areas. I'm just taking this razor blade on those heavy glue areas, and it's just straight. I mean, it is straight up and down, and I'm just scratching all the heavy glue areas off, and it's gonna break. Just kind of scrapes it. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's all scraped glue right there that this is just taken off. You just keep going until there's no more residue, and then I'll show you. So I'm going to finish. I have 9 more to do, and then I'll get to show you what I do after that. Okay. Now that I've got all my shafts cleaned, or, you know, defletched, all the glue's gone, the next step for me is I'm going to clean the outside of the shaft, get all the dust off so I make a good bond with my glue to the fletch. These are AAE Max Cleans. You can use distilled alcohol. I mean, I just have a can of this. Actually, here's a little container. Sorry, not distilled alcohol, acetone. This works too. Put it on a Q-tip or a rag and wipe it down. All it's doing is just cleaning. Then with acetone and these, I like to clean and then let them dry before I start gluing fletches on there. Okay, so this just looks like a giant baby wet wipe. So good. And I'm going to use probably this one rag for all 9 shafts. So, I mean, it's as simple as just wiping this thing down. It's getting all that dust off of there. And then I legitimately just lay it so the shaft is hanging off the edge of the table, so it's not touching my dusty desk. and I'm just gonna let it dry. So I'm really just going through all 9 of these shafts, cleaning the edges. I mean, you can see some of the dust that's coming off that. You don't want that between your glue and your fletch, if that makes any sense. You want a good adhesive surface. I kind of like that you scratch the edge of the shaft a little bit, not into the carbon, just scratching it. I believe it makes a better adhesive for the glue to the fletch. I mean, it cleans up pretty nice. Just a rough. That's just kind of my belief. Is it true? I don't have no idea, but that's in my mind. That's what I believe. These are pretty much the 2 things I've used to clean shafts. If you guys know of anything else that you've used that works great, put a comment down below. I'll try it out. And then I just want to emphasize, this is a really, really good time to go through your shafts and give it the flex test. Listen for any cracks. Feel around. Feel for any nicks, any abrasions from other arrows. And I mean, the last thing you want to do is have this blow up once you shoot it. I've seen nasty pictures and videos of them going through people's hands, blowing up next to their face and splinters into their face. It's not good news. So always check. Even if you miss a target and you hit something, the dirt, or you hear something hit hard or it skips off the ground, I can't emphasize enough that you should always check your shaft. Okay, now that I've got all the shaft ends clean, they're dry. Next step is fletching. So I'm going to install my knock again. I'm actually changing my fletching pattern. I had a 3 fletch left 3 degree. I'm going 4 fletch left 3 degree in a little bit smaller vein. It's still the saber veins. I've been trying these things out. So far, I like them. This is the small one. This is the mini saber, I think is what it's called, compared to the bigger one. Obviously, there's a little bit bigger in size. These are a little longer, a little taller. They're super quiet. If you shoot through a target, it kind of gets wavy, but it comes back, which is nice. I think the only downfall is the whole primer pin thing. Like, usually, I don't mind using a primer pin. I usually just primer pin it, let it dry, put some glue on it. But it's like you have to do like 2 coats of primer pin for these dang things to stick. Kind of a pain in the butt. Makes the process a lot longer than necessary, in my opinion. So, other than that, that's what I'm going with. So, take a vein. I'm using the Boeing fletching jig. You can have the option of 3 fletch, 4 fletch, 2 options of 4 fletch. I'm using, I don't know what it's called, but the other one looks like the X-Wing off Star Wars. I don't use this one. I'm just using the standard 4 fletch, 3 degree offset still, with the saber mini veins. So I take my vein, I put it through my jig, set it in there, take my primer pin. This is Easton's primer pin. I prime it, take a dry rag, wipe it down. Like I said, usually I don't do this step this often. Just prime it again, dry it off. Okay, then I got some AE Max Bond, Maximum Strength. I'm gonna put some glue on, and I just do little dots up and down the vein. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this since it's clear. Then I just take the tip of the glue and I just wipe it all evenly. Make sure everything looks even. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm just using this. And then set it on there. Set it on the jig. So slide, and I kind of hold the arrow down here because it seems like when you push this pressure on, the arrow wants to move up. Hands free for, I don't know, I let it sit for about 10-15 seconds. And then I'll be doing that 4 more times. So there's definitely easier veins out there that you don't have to use a primer pin. AE makes a handful of them. They're super nice. I have nothing against those. I'm just trying these saber veins out this year. And like I said, so far I like them except for this process. Comment below if there's some other veins that you think that are, I'm into quiet, so some quiet veins that don't make a bunch of noise that are real durable. Maybe I'll test them out. Buy a batch of them and throw them on some arrows. These are not my hunting arrows this year, by the way. These are, like I said, I'm doing some 3D shoots. They're 410 grains total weight. I'll probably be making some hunting arrows here, shoot, within a month or so, and getting those dialed in. And I'll have 2 different sight plates on my Canyon Pounder for 2 different arrows. But right now, like I said, I have a week and a half until I have a 3D shoot that I need to get ready for. So, like I said, this is a great beer drinking sport. It's 11 o'clock in the morning here, though, so probably not going to start that yet, but noon's rising. I mean, I'm sure it's probably 5 o'clock somewhere, but I gotta hold off a little bit. Back onto options on arrows. An easy way to get off arrows is putting on a wrap, and some of them look so cool, and they're not a bad option at all. I know a lot of people use them for visual on arrows, especially before Luminox, and that's great and all. I've just never been a big fan of adding more weight than necessary on the back side of my arrow, so I don't run a Luminox or illuminated knock or a wrap, and I definitely could. I've never even tried, to be honest with you, and it's pretty far for me to add another vein, so 4 veins is the max that I've gone. I know there's some funky stuff out there people have done with bitses that put like 8 veins on, and I'm not against any of it. I mean, you know, rub some funk on it, do what you want to do, but I know when you have wraps on it, it makes it super easy to remove veins because it's on a sticker. Technically, you take the sticker off, all the veins go with it, and it makes it easier to heave. But like I said, I'm alright fighting this fair and not putting extra weight on there. You know, if you put extra, or if you put wraps on your arrows, heck yeah, go for it. Like I said, rub some funk on it. But I'm just, something that I'm not into. It's just, I don't know. Maybe one day I'll try it out. But for now, it's just, I'm alright with fighting this primer pen and using my potato peeler to take off veins. Comes out pretty clean in my opinion. So, alright. So now I've got 4 veins. And I like to do this, I don't know. I think it makes it another security blanket on these fletches. And I do this on all fletches, not just these ones. But I like to put a dot of glue on the front of the vein and the back. And it's kind of like, I don't know, it just feels like it makes it a little bit more durable. Nothing can kind of get under it. Puts a little coat, you know, kind of ramps from the carbon to the vein, you know. I just put a dot there. So I'm just adding one little dot in the front, dot, 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 and then one in the back. And some people like clean the excess glue on between these veins, and I've done that, and maybe you guys can comment below, but every time I wipe it with, it doesn't matter if it's with a clean brand new rag or a cotton swab or anything, it leaves like a white residue. So if I don't wipe it, it just kind of dries clear, and I don't notice it. So I know a lot of people wipe the excess glue. I just keep getting this like white streak stuff. So comment below, tell me what you do. And that's it. I mean, that's pretty much a wrap for fixing my arrows. I've got I don't know, 8 left to do. Like I said, there are options. 3 tools that I use is a potato peeler, that bowing blade, which like I said you don't really need. You can just go with a razor blade. And then I use acetone or these Max wipes to clean the end of the shaft. Some type of, if your arrow requires it, some type of primer pen, and then some fletching glue. I mean, that's pretty much how I doctor up my arrows, fix them. And if I don't like these 4 fletches, I'll be doing through this process again. I'll probably definitely run them for the first 3D shoot that I do this year. But other than that, thanks for tuning in. Notch and Tags, Comment below for any questions. Thank you.